Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for a Napoleonic War. Midweek battle as hosted by the 33rd. And, oh look, a random horsey. Seems to be doing things. So there from the 15th Archers is Captain Archer. And let's see. There's Corporal of Horse Salty and Lieutenant Sharko, or Lieutenant. So, let's see what the sides are now. On the United Kingdom side, we have the 5E, the 33rd, and the 210, and more of the 33rd, and of course the 5E Hussars. And on the Russian side, we have, of course, the 34th, the 78th, the 15th Hussars, and let's see what else, the 42nd in there as well. Oh dear, poor old Sloth snuffed it already. So as you can see, so many people on the Russian side, and numbers are pretty good, pretty equal. So let's find out what these guys are going to be doing today. Usually it's going to involve lots of shooting and bullets and dying horribly. Ah, a fine drummer. Oh, crikey, that's a bit loud. So, Private Pyronics going in. As you can see, doing his awesome drumming thing. So, hurrah for the drummers. They don't get enough love. Needs to drum longer than that, but we'll have to wait and see. So now you can see over here, you've got the 210 defending. In as the rifleman, the Baker rifleman, obviously. You've got more of the 33rd. And this mighty long line. And there's Ripsy, who seems to be having somewhat of a seizure today. And there, of course, is Major Stefan leading the 33rd. So you can see them, obviously, turning to face, sorting their line out and getting ready to present. Look at that. Oh, lovely fusillade of rifle fire and muskets and all that funky good stuff. Now, it seems that there's one guy here who's definitely Batman Jesus. He's definitely Ramboing. As you can see, poor old Batman Jesus is definitely out of the way. Now, perched up here like the veritable meerkat is Adjutant Gurkha. So there we go. A nice kill onto Smokey from Grayscale. And Lieutenant Goodwin killing Specky Dave. I nearly called him Speckled Jim. If you get that reference, congratulations. So, here are the Russians. Lieutenant Colonel George Smollett of the 78th, of course. With Corporal Punishment IL. And let's see what's over here. There's Tyrion of the 78th. So, you have another Russian line here. The 34th. Sven Toba, of course. Oh, Blackmas Jones taking a bullet there. And who's that? That's Major Artemis, of course. Recognise that face anywhere. As now these guys are getting set up to do a fusillade back against the 33rd. You can see them sorting their line out. Taking pot shots at the 33rd. And you've got an awful lot of these guys. These fine fellows in their cheap armour. Complete with large axes. So this is the 42nd. So obviously they couldn't afford proper uniforms. So they've just put sacks together and, you know, done their thing for them. So there's Hobo Hamster. With a face that only a mother could love. And you can see now 76 versus 72. So the pickoffs have been occurring quite well. And here, of course, are the Russian Jaegers. Long distance fire from these guys. The 34th doing their thing. Invader Zim. So, you can see them engaging at length. You can see the fire coming back from the Russians as these guys. And there's, look, there's a commanding officer on a there's 42nd Rack. So he is commanding officer firing from horseback. And Private Barry managing to kill poor old Baron. Nice team kill going on. So, the 42nd continuing to fire back. They've lost a few of their numbers. The Russian side next to them, the 34th, also losing a few of their number. And, of course, the doorstop heads now moving out. George Smollett and friends look to be moving out. So the 78th now, you can see, making their way over to the left flank to try and do a outflanking maneuver onto the enemy. So now the trouble is, because they're out there away from the rest of the line, they've got to be very careful they don't jump by this dust cloud that is the enemy cavalry. That's going to be the problem for them. So you can now see in the middle here another player in command of that line. The brave drummer Pyronics doing his work. Or at least currently on break, by the sound of it. And now... oh, there we go. Timurid with a nice kill onto Metal Machine. And we'll see who these fellows are. There's Whib Paints from the 5E. So these guys... waiting for an opportunity. Sniffing around. Waiting for the moment when they can attack. And we'll just have to wait and see when that is. Because you've got now the English forces moving out on their right flank. The Russian forces that were moving out on their left flank are now pulling back closer to the original Russian line. This is going to be a tricky situation. The cavalry will have to time it just right. They will need the support of these guys, the line troops, which are then now moving over to the far right hand side. So there we go. The general has just caught a bullet. Rack has just caught one in the face, so he is no more. And there's Robin Hood, obviously, moving out with the line. And there's another player leading his section as well. And of course, Colonel Tyrion. So, let's see what happens. As now you can see, looks like the 5E are working together, trying to make the best. Look at that, the way they all wheel like a flock of birds. Wonderful stuff. And there we go, in come the 15th. So you can see the 15th after the 5E now, so the 15th Hussars and the 33rd. Also the poor old Bob Malog taking down Captain Archer. There's Carturus in there as well. You can see various people. There's Bioacid. And we're seeing what's going on as we've got a little rifle butt going on from Hobo Hamster. As let's see, Hobo Hamster's then taken down by Jack Spears. Now we can see Gamel Farr doing his work. Let's see, there's Roymar in there. And there's Recruit Webster. So let's see who from these Hussars. There's Tartar. And getting back onto a horse. There's Crispuscus. And there's Mr. Jack Spears. Looking decidedly female and blonde today. So you can see he's obviously in there trying to do evil things to the enemy. As Salty gets taken down, Corporal Horse has been sliced to the ground as I yawn. I do apologise, everyone. So now they're trying to finish off that last person. Oh, a nice slice. Oh no, Jack Spears gets taken down by Whaleman. Ah, now it's time for the whales to fight back. Oh, that was nasty. Bad horse landing there for this fella. There's Crispuscus, now currently fighting for survival. As you can see, oh dear. And unfortunately losing that fight, so. There's Opal Byron as well. Oh, stabby goodness, going into the 2LO. Or the 21-0, sorry. So let's see. As I pause to wet whistle, because wettings of whistles is very important indeed. So there we go, Happy Dude taking out members of the 33rd as they charge into battle, complete with Mr. Stefan, with the world's most inaccurate pistol. So let's watch Stefan as he leads his men to glory, or possibly wipe out, it's difficult to tell. But he picks himself up a nice bayoneted musket. And he's actually killed someone, good God. He actually killed Lieutenant Colonel George Smollett. So let's see how long it takes for Stefan to snuff it. You can see now fire coming in. You've got a bunch of Russians over on one side. As now you can see Descor's being taken now. Sneaky Fellow also being finished off. And we shall follow now Mr. Stefan as he charges into the back of RSM Rob, who wasn't paying attention. He's going for his back of the legs. Look at this. Fantastic rampage here from Mr. Stefan. Going after another of those Russians. Nice block by Mr. Stefan. Looks like he tried to combination rifle butt and stab him at the same time. Oh, a nice finish off there from Mr. Stefan. And then finishes off Colonel Tyrion as he was barged to the floor by a horse. So, I'm expecting the server to crash at any minute. And the entire universe to basically come to an end. For that reason. 6-0 for Major Stefan. I don't believe that the universe can handle the paradox. We'll have to wait and see. We'll move on to the next round. And so we return to the battle as they move out from the English spawn, the 33rd. And there, of course, is Mr. Malog. Yes, Bob the Malog. Sir Bob the Malog, actually. Recently, you know, given the Knight's Garter and all the rest of it. I don't believe he's wearing it under the frilly underwear, but anyway, we'll have to ask later. As we're looking at Private Scottish, who is armed with a rifle, and we are now moving in as these fine fellows procession past the 5E who are waiting for the off, with Adjutant Officer Redmond Barry, Kieran, Stork, Roymer, Joe Crotch, Recruit McFluffy, there's Jack Spears, and Soldat Black Dynamite kills a member of the 34th. Oh dear. And has unfortunately then shot himself in the foot. So he will not be joining us for the rest of the battle. And we shall now look on Major Stefan as this line here with Adjutant Gurkha, with of course the most inaccurate pistol ever in the history of the universe. Yes, very effective, well done. And so we'll watch. See, there's Ripsy dropping the flag behind the troops and taking his line. So, if that was your bullet, Gurkha, you need to lift it a little bit higher than that. You're not going to shoot anybody from 10 feet away. Oh dear. Oh no. The commanding officer's lost his horse already. That's not a good thing. Poor old Rack is in trouble, quite literally. So, the 42nd... Oh dear. Recruit Meteorotic also catching a bullet coming in from the 33rd. One-hack Jack with a nice sniper shot upon his head. And down goes Rack. Oh, the General having such a bad run of luck right now, as you can see. So the Russians have now lost their commanding officer. Hobo Hamster. Good God, look at that face. That is just criminal. Does look very hamster-like, doesn't it? Now, this is what you call a very opportunistic line. They're all hiding behind that rock, with Mr. Hamster taking pot shots at the enemy. So they're trying to hide their numbers behind there, and they seem to be doing quite a good job, as now they're moving out. As Private Piffle from the 78th, great name by the way, Piffle, gets shot in their head. So now you can see Russians moving out, the skirmishers taking pot shots at them, another line over here on the left. So there you go, Pyronics doing his drumming thing. And now this other line with Ripsy holding the flag, Stefan leading the line, going for an outflanking manoeuvre. However, over here you can see, no doubt, this is the doorstop heads themselves. It is, of course, the 78th and Colonel Tyrion moving in on exactly the same position. So any second now, there's going to be a punch-up. Its question is who can get into position first and fire first. So let's wait and see what happens. Oh, he might have gone the wrong side of the rock. Let's wait and see. Are they going to turn and fire, or are they going to charge? They're going to charge. There we go. A little bit of firing on the charge. You can see lots of fire. Tyrion taken out. A little bit of officer aiming. A bit of orifice aiming on poor old Tyrion. And Stefan as well, taken down by Piper Angus Mackay. So, as you can see now, lots of stabby goodness occurring around the rocks. And here come the cavalry. The 15th Hussars. Suspill. Oh, dehorsed almost immediately. And stabbed to death. So, poor old Webster got finished off by Joe Crotch. Oh dear. And there's Cadet Tartar. So, let's see. There's Gamelfar. And in the middle here, Sneaky Fellow. Monsnick. And Monsnick again. Oh, doing his... Oh, there's stabby goings on. And a nice team kill as well. Well, it may not have been a team kill. Oh, look at that. Oh, Sneaky Fellow's picked up the colours. As Ripsy has probably... Now, Ash Tempest there, deciding to be very calm and decide to wait the outcome of the cavalry battle. Oh, nice shot there. Oh, look at that. And he's getting charged in. As you can see, a little bit of fire coming in. And there we go. You can see. Oh, my goodness. What's going on? So many horses being finished off by that sabre. Oh, fantastic. And Deadpool finished off by hat-tricks. He's well and truly on a hat-trick. Scenes not anymore. As the hurricane comes blowing in and finishes him off. So, the 34th in. The rifleman over on the right-hand side. Cadet Wooty. Wooty Woot. And Private Dawn. So, looking at the numbers, 41 versus 24. So the Russians are up against it, outnumbered by a factor of about 2 to 1. So, let's see. Aha, yes. It is overlooking the battle. The two-dimensional bird smiles upon this battle between the Russians and the Brits. So. Oh no, jingoistic Diplo catching a bullet there coming in from Izadep. So now you can see the Russians here. They're being very careful because of those cavalrymen who are sniffing around. You've got these Brits over here. Some of the AFK are still by the spawn. So this is all that remains, the 23 that remain of the Russian forces. Combinations of riflemen and line infantry. Going to be going up against the likes of those skirmishers running in the open pattern. The line infantry up ahead. And the cavalry. So this is going to be a very interesting situation. Can Major Artemis pull it off? No, just don't. So, you can see a little bit of fire going on. A little bit of stabby goodness. And there we go. It looks like the 34th going in for a little bit of shooting onto the 33rd. The 33rd replying in kind. Oh, look at that fire coming in there. Onto the 34th. A huge amount of fire into the 34th. Massive. And unfortunately, the 34th are being cut to pieces now. As Artemis, the old man, doing the best. And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the British forces have won another round. And we shall move on to the next round. And so we return with the third round. Now, under the ever watchful gaze of the two-dimensional bird, we shall move in what appears to be the Russian spawn. They can see their enemy diagonally opposite them on the far side of the battlefield, as there is Hobo Hamster in there There, of course, is Rack. And Artemis. Disciplining men. So, you can see here, whoops-a-daisy. Recruit Diamond. So, you can see a little bit of a boost going on at the Russian spawn. As Colonel Tyrion checking out with his spyglass. And there seems to be a circling horse. Circling horse. It's Captain Archer. Nearby, Lieutenant Sharko. And of course, Corporal of Horse Salty. Checking with their spyglasses to try and determine the movement of the enemy. Now, bear in mind, on this kind of map, it's pretty easy to see where the enemy is moving to try and counter them, because it's a pretty open map. Everything is very flat, so it means that you can actually move your forces quite easily around to try and circumvent any attempts at flanking. And as we know, Stefan is a natural flanker. Yes, of course. So, you can see over here on one side, there of course the 21-0 with Revan in charge. There's Tornado and Gianara and the GG and Byron, and at the rear, Hell Company, who's looking a little white-faced and pasty. So, now, it seems that somebody was AFK and is now struggling to keep up. So there's 30. I wonder if that's his 33rd. No, I don't know. He's the old man. Look at that hair. Maybe that's slowing him down. You know, he's having a little bit of sort of issues with the hat, maybe. I don't know. It's difficult to say. Maybe he had to run off to the bog before he started the battle. So, you can now see these lines moving up. There we go. A nice kill from Kling into the 42nd. So, the first kill there. Very nicely done. With a sniping headshot into poor old Corporal Hunter from the 42nd. Now, obviously, these guys over here are the AFKers. So, they are unaware of what's going on. Exodus. And unfortunately, they are riflemen as well. So, that's going to be very unfortunate, as they're going to get stabbed, and it could be that they lose their rifles to the English forces, which would be pretty bad because of the accuracy of those things. However, the 78th is actually moving out now. So you can see the 78th under Colonel Tyrion moving out on the left-hand side to try and offset this force which is coming. As, unfortunately, Invitational Scout from the 5E Hussars has just fallen off his horse and headbutted a rock, and Books of War has disappeared to the library, so unfortunately they will not be with us for too much longer, as fire coming into the 78th from it was in fact the 21-0 who are moving up aggressively. Now there we go, they fire a fusillade and then they decide to run, but Hell Company taken down by the fusillade coming from the 78th. Now these guys are going to have to dodge all that fire, and they've managed to do it as the Russians are now closing in on them. These guys, obviously, they fired and moved straight away as Kill Bill manages to bayonet himself in the forehead, and he will no longer be on the server. He may return to the battle after the bayonet has been surgically removed. It's either that or they... Now, I'm not sure how they'd surgically remove it. They might just remove it from the neck downwards. Don't know. Difficult to say. Oh, random horse. So here we go. Here's Rack in there as well. So, General in charge. Along with, of course, the hamster. And down goes Rack. Almost as clockwork. This man has the ability to snuff it better than anyone I've seen. So, almost beyond Aztir's skill from the 77Y. So now you can see the Russian forces moving in, and it looks like they may try and outflank these guys. This is the problem that the 21-0... Oh no, there's Batman. Batman Jesus has just killed one of the 21-0. That's very unfortunate. As now you can see the Russians moving in on the 21-0, and they're going to try and defend themselves. They have to get into a melee battle, but unfortunately I think the 42nd have the advantage in numbers. This may be the end for the brave 21-0 as they are trying to defend themselves as Aim Sharp is taken down. The GG also taken down as Banana King is moving in on one of the few men left standing. There's Swataris, and running in the opposite direction obviously is Revan, Byron, Tornado and Swataris. So the Hobo Hamster chasing them down. However, you have got cavalry nearby. There's Bamsey, Lance Corporal of Horse, with his horn. So you can see now them circling these troops, the 4 remaining members of the 21-0. Oh, there we go, and Byron with a nice team kill onto his commanding officer, as Byron then gets taken down by Swataris, and Tornado is finished off. So that's the 21-0. However, the 5E Hussars are getting very enjoyably involved in the 34th. Look at that. Jingoistic Diplo killing one of his teammates. Masses of stabs. These guys need to basically all stand with their backs to each other because they've got to deal with that cavalry attack. This is nasty. However, their cavalry has now moved in, and there we go. Charles Vassarot manages to team kill Major Stefan. Fantastic goings on here. So now you can see more slicey goodness occurring. As you can see, the 5E coming in and trying to take out as many of these rifles and long distance skirmishers as possible. There's Private Cameron. You can see huge amounts of fire, and unfortunately for them, these guys are not looking behind them. This is going to be the problem for them. They've got to watch out for these guys. The 15th. Oh, nice. Now they're turning to fire, and this is where it's starting to get very messy indeed. So you can see their Bamsey taken out. Recruit Dark Guy for the 15th. So the 15th Hussars trying to take out as many of those British forces, and now you've also got Batman Jesus with a second team kill. I'm Batman Jesus. And there we go, another kill onto Ants from Deadpool. And now you can see Angus Mackay and Centon being barged to the floor by Captain Archer. So Angus Mackay, Piper Extraordinaire from the 78th, trying to defend himself against Baron from the 33rd. And poor old Ripsy gets taken out by Archer as well. Archer then gets finally bayoneted by a sneaky fellow from the 33rd. And now you can see, oh, look at that, one stab. Going in for a second stab. He's got to watch out behind him for that reason. For that reason, indeed. The 5E. And looks like the 15th Hussars timed it to perfection. 8 Russian, 16 English. As you can see now, the 34th being finished off quite significantly. There's Cavalier Roymer. There we go, another member, and Jack Spears finished off by Major Artemis. A bayonet thrust to the face. 3 Russians remaining against 15 Brits. This is not a good situation. Whip Paint. Whip Paint's in there, and unfortunately is no more. As Colonel Kander is also then taken down. So poor old Whip Paint, and it's Major Artemis trying to save Russian glory, but sadly was unable to do so against multiple members. And we're on to a map change, boys and girls. We'll be right back. And so, we are back. And I have to say, this map is not looking a huge amount different from the previous map. Okay, there's less sand. But there's more, there's equal bushes, less rocks, but more trees. But it's still pretty flat. So sneaking up on the enemy is going to be pretty hard. So, let's find out what's going on. There, of course, catcher of bullets. Rack, rack. And Timurid. And the fine Russian forces of the 42nd and the 34th. Fine fellows, one and all, moving out. Now, there's Wib Paint. Captain Wib Paint, no less. What is Wib Paint? Do you paint your wibs that often? I'm not actually sure what a wib is, but anyway. So there's Private Ice Cube, cool as ever. And there's Captain Archer, leader of the 15th Hussars. Cantering back to the 15th Hussars. And here, of course, is a great big huge snaky line of the 33rd. Complete with the bravest men in the regiment, Thor and Eddard Stark, the musicians of choice. So, oh dear. Unfortunately, Wib's gone off to paint his wibs. That's pretty impressive jumping considering he's running. So, as you can see. So, the 33rd making their way out. And looks like they're covering the far edge of the map here. So this is essentially the edge of the map. So if they go beyond this point, they will fall into nothingness. And if that isn't officer aiming, I don't know what is. So a good shot coming in from the Russian forces. And oh my goodness, masses of fire coming in from the 34th. They've really caught this line unaware. Look at this, using the edge of the bank for cover. And now they're mad. Now the third are mad. Here comes Ripsy. He's going to come after him, beat him to death with a flag. As here we go, out come the Russians from the side, as Ripsy's now in the process of trying to defend his colours. Having a little bit of trouble, as you can see. Drops the colours there, pulls out his sword, and goes in for a slice and dice. Picks up, oh, down goes Major Artemis. And now additional forces, the reinforcements come in, as now the Russians have their backs, as Sven Tober gets taken out. Ripsy gets finished off by Majestic. And you can now see this poor sod mafia man fighting up to his waist in water. Less of an issue for him. So this poor fellow making his move. And now he's got his back to the water on this side. Good God, man. What's going on there? Ah, underwater drumming, ladies and gentlemen. The highlight of Napoleonic War musical. So, as we continue along the river to find the Baker Rifleman, the 33rd, there's Kubi. And yet more people. There's Private Grayscale. Now they're going to be moving across. And you can see from the kill feed, the 15th and the 5E are caught up in a big old battle. As Sir Spill there killing one of his enemy. And the 42nd with a few team kills in there as well. So you can see plenty. Oh, horse crash. Horse crash. And there's Marlog Bioacid. And over here you can see recently dehorsed member of the 15th, I believe. It is. Oh, sir, that was beautiful. However, you only killed the horse, you didn't kill the man. However, he's running for this horse. He will pick up spare horse. And takes out another of his enemy's horses. And goes for a saber slice onto his man. His enemy, as you can see. Blackamus Jones being taken out. There's Roymar trying to saber slice the enemy. As one of his friends flies around him. There's Corporal of Horse Salty. And this poor fellow in the middle here. Roymar being barged to the floor. Managed to get barged to the floor out of the way of that sabre. So that's advantageous as far as they're concerned. So Roymar currently doing his best to try and defend himself with that curved cavalry sabre. As there we go. Recruit killer. Oh, slicing Kieran down the face. brutal, brutal goings on there. As Roymer's doing his best to try and defend himself. As there's Recruit Killer and Martesticles trying to defend himself. Unfortunately, his Martesticles got trampled. As we're now looking over at the 78th as the 15th finish off the 5E. And now you can see, oh my goodness, it's the Russian derp. Look out, it's the derp attack, the one that's you've obviously seen in Malekith's videos. It's the horde, it's the Russian horde moving in. And you can see fighting going in into the river running red with British blood. However, on the opposing side, the bank, it is of course Mr. Malok and his rifleman and a conspicuous drummer, of course. Pyronics. Whoops-a-daisy. I don't think that went according to plan there, Cameron. So, Private Ice Cube. And there is Discourse, who has stolen the British flag. Oh, Tyrion taken down by Private Scottish. And it looks like Bob Malog trying to deal with the drummer. Oh, the poor drummers don't get any love these days. Oh, poor Pyronics. He's just trying to do his job. And there we go. You can see One Act Jack being finished off and Eladin being finished off by Jean de Ville. Oh, Bob. There you go, Bob. That's what happens. That is karma for you killing the musician. You evil, evil man. And you can see Private Cameron being finished off by Jean de Ville again. And the Oldman also being finished off. So, 26 versus 6. Only 6 Brits, now 5. DJ Alexander. Getting his rocks off is Private Scottish. And you can see the Hussars having a fight on the side of the river. As Private Scottish is going to jump into the water. And down goes DJ Alexander. So, here we go. Sergeant Kubi trying to defend himself from the attack of the Russians. Samuel Gray, Jean de Ville taken down. Kubi trying to defend himself. Only 2 people left against 20. A knotty situation for Kubi as he's fighting by the side of the river. Blood running into the river from the Russian bodies. And you can see here he's going stabbing mad here at the moment. And Kubi being barged also by the 15th Hussars. Trying to block those stabs. Nice stab into Travis from the 78th. So Kubi doing a fantastic job. Unfortunately not fantastic enough as Private Penis kills him. So Kubi unfortunately fell victim to a penis. There's not really much you can say about that. And so we return with the next round. And oh dear. The old man being executed on the field for insubordination and general name calling. So, referring to the commanding officer's mother is probably not a good thing. So, let's see if Stefan can catch another bullet. Now, we're moving out from the Russian spawn. So these guys here, from the 34th, with First Lieutenant leading this line. At the rear, there's Mafia Man. Now, by the river's edge, we can see very sneaky goings on, where they're hiding their numbers and their location, the 42nd. So, Hobo Hamster. You can hear the rifle and musket shots beginning already. And now you can see here the skirmishers engaging the British forces. As Sir Spill lives up to his name and lands on a rock, flying off his horse head first. Very unfortunate for Sir Spill. There's a Bob Malog. And we hear the dulcet tones of fifage. Yay, look at that. Fantastic. Oh no, another player taken out long distance by Diablo. So there's Ripsy obviously in there. So you can see now these guys moving forward. The two musicians staying close by Ensign Ripsy. And you can see Major Stefan checking out the area. Together with Private John T. So good to see they're promoting from within. And he does it again, ladies and gentlemen. 47 Rack, or 42nd Rack, with a fantastic catch of a bullet as Hobo Hamster gets finished off. As Bob Malog stays there with the skirmishers. And it looks like the 15th Hussars are getting involved as well. So there's Forestalk and Crotch. And there's, of course, Jack Spears looking very girly. So, as you can see. Distinctly blonde. So, to be honest, I'm surprised sitting on the horse the right way. But anyway, it's probably got like front and back written on the horse. You know, just to know which direction, you know. An arrow pointing forward saying horse goes this way. So, there we go. Quick execution, field execution. And there's Kander, the colonel. And you can see here the musicians and the line of the 33rd moving out. There's Major Stefan holding his line. There we go, forming everyone up. There's Ripsy over on the left side. And apparently Tavis was a bad boy and was pistol headshotted as a result. There we go. The two musicians doing their thing. Marching back and forth around the line to bring up the spirits of their men. And Ripsy also marching back and forth, holding the flag with pride. Just don't see this in Napoleonic Wars often enough. Because it lags, which is a shame. Ripsy must be bored. So, there's Mafia Man catching a stab from Adjutant Gurkha. So let's find out what's going on with other members of the 33rd. Here is the 15th Hussars. And oh, Fogard. The Observer Cam curse is again. Oh, and it's Private Penis, or Privet Penis. You can see now lots of fire going on. So, Penis claiming more victims. Isn't that just like life? But anyway. The 21-0. Oh, Comics GR. Catching a bullet from Brappo from the 34th. So, good firing there from the guys. And now you can see these guys also then working together. There we go, the 34th now moving away. Under First Lieutenant. Oh, RSM Rob shot in the back of the head. Very unfortunate for him. Thanks to the GG from the 21. Oh, and now you can see the 34th. The skirmishers are now trying to kill as many of them as possible. And there's Batman Jesus also doing his thing. So, let's move over here. More line forces from the 33rd fighting the Russians on the banks of the river. Batman Jesus with a fine stab. You don't mess with Batman Jesus. Who's this last man? It's Recruit Diamond from the 42nd, and they go in with a boot as well. And poor old Diamond is no more. So, very unfortunate. Now, you can see George Smollett from the 78th and his line as Kill Bill manages to catch a lovely shot from Majestic. Oh, invitational look is down. I have to say, considering he's running, he's actually doing quite well, as the 34th is engaging from across the building. And that has to be the shortest sword ever in history. It's either that or it's a toothpick. So poor old Majesticals has just taken it in the Majesticals. So let's see, there's Major Stefan. And Sneaky Fellow following in behind them. As now it looks like the 15th Hussars are having a run-in with the 15th. Oh, Joyland sliced off the top of his head. As Ripsy is moving out. And there's Private Jonty with his spyglass, trying to find out where the Russians are located. Now you can see, moving in closely to support the Baker Riflemen of the 33rd. And of course, the leader, Mr. Malog, or Sir Malog. And they will be trying to engage these forces here. So the skirmishers for the Russians moving up closer. Bob sticks his head over the top of the hill and may very soon lose it. As the 15th and the 5E continuing to battle it out on the field, as you can see here. I think it's fair to say that pretty much most of the survivors are the 15th, as Major Artemis gets killed by DJ Alexander. So here we go, the 15th Hussars, 44 versus 35. So they've got to be careful as they cross the river. As now you can see Lieutenant Anders moving out. And let's see, they're going to be moving over to support the Russian side. As Jingoistic Diplo catches a bullet from Kovman. So these guys here, Private Ryan. And they've also got a line to support them at the rear, which is the 34th. With Lieutenant Jaganun in command. With Cadet Brappo at the rear. So these guys will want to try and provide some kind of support. A bit of fire support, but over the other side, it is a bunch of Russians, the 78th in with an ambush. Can they get into a situation where they can make the most of this? No, it looks like they decided to go for melee. And you can see them firing. May have been a better option for them to actually get into a line, but unfortunately it was not to be. As poor old Tyrion catches a bullet. And now you can see Samuel Gray holding the flag. As the Russians move over and try and deal with those pesky Brits. As it looks like Stefan yet again catches a bullet. Poor Stefan. So Private Angus McKay and Grayscale getting into a battle. As Verhoeven. And there's Ripsy defending his colours. Oh, taking a saber slice from one of the 15th. And now he's got to be careful. He's going in with them. Oh, Ripsy. And poor old Sven Tova, team killed by Griff. Lance Corporal of Horse about to be Private of Horse. Oh, there we go. Howie also being finished off. So let's see the numbers. 22 versus 12. Sneaky Fellow not being very sneaky and now being stabbed an awful lot. Very unfortunate, as now you can see here. It's a Bob. Look out, everyone. It's an attack Bob. And he's got out his pistol when he means business. And missed everybody. So, yeah, the pistol. Oh, my goodness. Oh, they're about to get overrun. Bob is in trouble. As you can see here, lots of fire going on as Bob Malog taken down by Griff. Griff also killing Revan as well from the 21-0. And this is getting very brutal as the battle continues in the river. You can see there's only 3 Brits remaining. Correction, 2 Brits remaining. No Brits remaining. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is it for the line battle. Thank you to all the regiments that attended. Thank you to all the players. And thank you to the organisers, the 33rd. We will see you again next time.